He's having a good Digimon Up launch month, eh? What is up, digital companions? My name is Karn EX and welcome back to another video and oh baby! Yes, despite the fact that Digimon as a brand is doing better than ever, apparently, as we talked about the other day, I genuinely think the anime, the video games, and the V-Pets are doing wonderful, but it does feel a little bit like the mobile games department are letting the team down. I'm going to do something of a bad news sandwich, so I'm going to start off with some good news, we're going to talk about the bad news, and then we're going to end with some good news. It's going to be a filled sandwich. So first of all, the good news is that Digimon Alysion is still on track for release this year. Toei confirmed in their projections for 2026 into 2027 that Alysion is still 2026 to be determined. Obviously, we know the Alysion TCG set is coming out in December, so we have between now and then for them to announce Alysion. A lot of people seem very worried that Alysion is cancelled. It's definitely not cancelled. There's always a chance it gets delayed. Games get delayed all the time, but frankly, I would take this as a positive sign that they are cooking with Digimon Alysion, taking on board the extreme amount of feedback they got from that closed beta test. Like, yeah, maybe they could have put the game into open beta for a little bit to kind of make this a little less harsh, but this is Digimon we're talking about. They historically, time after time do this where until they actually have news to share, they just go radio silent. And honestly, yeah, they could probably share some updates or whatever, but if there's nothing actually new to show, they'd just be posting old information, and that would be inviting more people to be critical on social media and add to the malaise. Still feel very confident this game is coming out in the next couple of months, and once they actually have a firm release date, they will start posting about it and updating regularly. In the bad news, it's not been a great release month for Digimon Up. In full transparency, I am supposed to be doing a Digimon Up sponsored video, which, yeah, if it was any other title would obviously be a lot less contentious, but I'm a Digimon YouTuber. I've been approached to do a sponsored video for a Digimon thing. If it happens, obviously you'll see it. I don't know if it'll actually still happen at this point, but it was the dream of little Karn to be paid to talk about Digimon, so you know. That said, it's never gonna stop me from being critical, so yikes. Digimon Up has had a rocky launch, you could say. Obviously the initial reaction was quite negative, but I would say split maybe 60-40 in the fandom, maybe 70-30, I don't know. A lot of people are very disappointed by the type of game it is, an idle gacha. The people who were expecting the type of game it is or just don't mind that type of game became the predominant player base, and it did even out for a while. Unfortunately, things have gone a little squiff recently. Digimon Up regularly goes down for maintenance. This isn't an uncommon thing with mobile games, but it does seem like it's a lot with Digimon Up. Now, for me personally, it's not a massive issue because this maintenance always seems to happen when I'm asleep in the middle of the night. However, I know for people in different time zones, it can be very debilitating to your playtime. The unfortunate thing is that whenever they do maintenance, it seems like something breaks. They do a maintenance to fix a Pokemon wall, then something stops working, they fix that with maintenance and a Pokemon wall breaks again. But most recently, I think the most catastrophic maintenance issue happened where the game went down for maintenance, and when it came back, Android users just couldn't play the game. It scared a lot of people because it said that there was no account linked to their data link, they couldn't sign in on the website, there were errors. Now thankfully that wasn't true, and the social media accounts did make it clear that this was an error and we hadn't lost our data, but not everyone is on social media. So a lot of people might have just assumed they lost everything, especially paid for accounts. Now I would hope that people would check in a day or so when there's an update and see, but I saw plenty of people saying they were uninstalling the game over this. Digimon Up said then that once they fixed it, there would be items distributed as a gesture of apology, which also went terrifically badly. As it turned out, said compensation just seemed to be delivered randomly, with people who genuinely weren't able to play for a day, sometimes getting like 2 or 3 days of rewards of compensation. I got what felt like 1.5 days compensation, but the key problem here was that it also seemed that people on iOS were getting compensation. People who hadn't been affected were getting compensation, sometimes double rewards and things like that, which they've now addressed. And there's another problem. They have given out more apology items. This post on the English account just straight up has stuff in Japanese, sure, but it seems all over the place with who gets compensation and who doesn't and how much of it, which in the type of game that it is does create a disparity. It becomes a chase if you care about topping PvP leaderboards and things like that you potentially could never catch up with unless you paid money, though realistically most people that are topping these leaderboards have paid money already. It is not a good situation. I want to make that clear. I'm not defending this. I'm not saying it should happen, like it obviously shouldn't. I'm fairly certain this game was outsourced to a third party, probably a small dev team, and it just isn't going well for them. However, I do think there is also, because of the negative press Digimon Up attracted when it launched, sometimes a little bit of, I think, too aggressive behavior. Like, I do feel very bad for people who are paying money for this game, which again, outside of the ad pass, I wouldn't advocate for. Certainly wouldn't advocate for spending tons and tons on this game, but it probably doesn't feel great if you supported a game monetarily and now you're not able to play the game to the level you would like to play. I am very casual in this game. I like logging in, playing the fun mini games, doing some digital world dungeon, feeding my Digimon, summoning new Digimon. I managed to get a bunch of Davis, which is nice, and raising my partners to 99. That's the part of the game I like. I want more partner Digimon added. But if you're really dedicated to topping leaderboards in this game, this is objectively not a good outcome. This has not gone well. However, I do think sometimes people are very keen to be like, I didn't get this, and it's like, just wait a minute. Sometimes it takes a sec. Again, not defending the multi-billion-dollar corporation or anything. I'm just saying, like, give it a minute. Sometimes these things are like that, but in general, this has been poorly managed. It does suck that seemingly every time it goes down for maintenance, some other problem persists, and it doesn't add a great deal of faith in your title if it's consistently doing this. I imagine the player base has fallen off just because of how much maintenance there's been. You know, we've had maintenance and then more maintenance to fix maintenance. Not ideal. I do think there's a path where they can make this game good, or at least more enjoyable. I still have fun with Up. Like I say, I like the mini games. I do like the raising element for what there is there, and I especially love the camp and friend part, and that's what keeps me logging in some days, feeling like I'm helping people in my camp and on my friend list, and I wish that could be expanded even more, and maybe even add more variety to the mini games. I'll do a dedicated video at some point after my sponsored video comes out, if it ever does, about how I would fix and tweak Up to give it more oomph and longevity. When the game first launched, I feel like it was harder to pick out just general kind of hatred versus people's legitimate criticism, whereas I feel like now that initial shock factor that the fan base had has kind of died out, and we are now looking at the actual player base, and I do think they need to listen more carefully. Well, like I say, there are probably people who are a little bit extra and a little bit too quick to be like really mad at the game. If people are uninstalling or thinking that they've lost their entire account because of a maintenance update, it's not a good look. My personal opinion though is this is not going to have a significant amount of damage on the Digimon brand. My hope, my optimistic hope, is that what they learn is to actually make polished mobile titles, and by the time Digimon Alysion comes out, we're probably going to see a significant fall off on Digimon Up player base. People are just looking for any Digimon mobile game to play. Alysion will probably replace that for them. It's not like they can't make decent mobile games. Digimon New Century apparently is doing incredibly well in China, and I get a lot of people asking why it's not left China. My assumption, as always, is just that it wouldn't make enough money to justify the server costs. Digimon Up is just a tiny title comparatively, and despite the amount of maintenance, doesn't require as many people to work on it. I imagine it is a skeleton crew doing the work on this game any given day, but I don't think Digimon Up is going to cause this like black spot on the franchise. I'll be honest with you, I think a majority of Digimon Up players are probably already just hardcore Digimon fans, so we're going to be in for the ride kind of no matter what, no matter how good or bad the franchise gets. But I think if anything, the number crunches the money. People are going to look at the success of Beatbreak, Time Stranger, the V-Pet toys, and continue to double down on those. We already know there's a new anime next year, a new V-Pet project. Pretty sure video games are going to keep coming out. I have my whole theory about the re-release of Redigitize either next year or the year after, plus the Time Stranger DLC is already locked in too. I think Digimon Up is either going to improve itself, which is the ideal scenario, add story mode and things like that, or it's going to quietly fade into the background as Digimon Alysion and more video games come out. In some potentially good news to kind of finish off the good, bad, good sandwich, the AFK Journey collab does come out on the 18th of August. I haven't played AFK Journey before, but I do want to dive into it. I'll probably do a launch stream going over it and hopefully trying to unlock the Digimon content, but it actually looks pretty good from the trailers. It looks like they've integrated Digimon into the AFK Journey art style in a way that's actually quite interesting, and to me it's always just going to be cool to see a game that I've heard of before, like I've heard of AFK Journey, collabing with the brand I love the most. So that's basically where I'm at. I think basically all criticism of Digimon Up at this point is valid. I'm still having fun with it for what it is, but it's a stopgap game until Digimon Alysion, let's be honest. Again, if that sponsor video goes out, it's going to talk about all the positives, but I will keep talking about the negatives in other videos. I, like I say, do not think this is going to be a permanent damage to the Digimon brand. We've had plenty of brands who've just brought out weird stuff and people still adore the brand itself, so I wouldn't worry too much about this like damaging the comeback era of Digimon or anything like that. I just hope they either fix Digimon Up or kind of just go, alright, this isn't working, and wash their hands of it. Either way, Alysion, Time Stranger, new anime, me. It's all good, baby. I'm still excited for Digimon. I would say 90% of the time, I am very happy with the way the franchise is going. Let's get that Macy's Day Parade balloon for the 30th anniversary of Digimon next year. They've got a Goku one, they've got a Luffy one. Why not have an Agumon one? That's all I'm saying. Anyway, thank you to my sovereign ZDK14 and everyone else who supports me over on patreon.com/Karn EX and my amazing YouTube channel members here on YouTube too. Gonna have more exclusive videos for you guys, early access and all kinds of other cool stuff coming soon. And I'll see you next time when we go digital. Bye bye.